Welcome into a For What It's Worth breakdown episode. It is your host, Calvin Silvers, and this episode might be a little different than what you're accustomed to. No, we're not going to be talking NBA, and no, we're not going to be talking NFL. Instead, we're going to talk about something that hits pretty close to home for me, and that is the news of former Northwest Missouri State men's basketball coach and former Drake men's head basketball coach, Ben McCollum, will be going to the University of Iowa, my favorite college team and probably favorite sports team of all levels. And this is just really exciting because not only have I been invested into the Iowa basketball program when there has been a new head coach, but also the fact that I covered Northwest Missouri State men's basketball from 2018 to 2022 when I attended college there and reported for them for the Northwest Missourian. So I have a little background on Ben McCollum and what he was able to do at Northwest. Obviously, we all saw what he could do on a national stage at the D1 level this past season. And I just kind of wanted to share my thoughts and opinions here on why I think this is such a great hire from the University of Iowa and why I think Ben McCollum will be a great fit for the University of Iowa. Let's start with his ability to recruit and develop players. One of my favorite players that I ever watched, probably at any level and from any school, would be Trevor Hudgens. Freshman year, he averaged 18.7 points per game. He had three assists per game, and that was all while setting a school record with 203 assists. And then you go later on in his career, about junior year, he led the Bearcats to a national title. He averaged 19.8 points per game, 4.6 assists per game, and he won the NABC Division II Player of the Year award. Senior year, he became the MIAA's all-time leading scorer with 2,829 points, ranks fourth in NCAA Division II history with 435 career three-pointers. Came in freshman year already, underrated player, a gem that no one seemed to have known about. And then went on to be, fourth in NCAA Division II history in threes, MIAA's all-time leading scorer, just what he did for Northwest and the amount of championships he helped lead them to. Just unbelievable. And not only that, he went on to sign a two-way contract with the Houston Rockets in 2022 and spent time with the G League affiliate. So Trevor Hudgens, pretty successful career. You also had Justin Pitts. Freshman year, he burst onto the scene kind of like Hudgens did. He averaged 17.2 points per game, 3.3 assists per game. Sophomore year, he won MIAA Player of the Year. He had 21.7 points per game, 5 assists per game. His junior year, he led or helped lead Northwest to their first ever D2 national championship. He also won Division II Player of the Year. He averaged 20.9 points per game, 5.1 assists per game, and then he went on and played professionally overseas. You have Bennett Sturts, who's currently with Ben McCollum out at Drake. But freshman year, he averaged 12.6 points per game, 3.9 rebounds per game, and 3.4 assists per game. I mean, and not only that, he was showcasing elite defense and just high IQ play early on. His second year at the Bearcats, all MIAA second team, averaged 13.7 points per game, 5.2 rebounds per game, and 3.3 assists per game. Now, at Drake, he averaged 19.2 points, so a big jump there. Notably scored 21 points in each of Drake's two tournament games this previous season. So that's just highlighting not only his offensive impact, but just his growth from his time at Northwest to now here at Drake. Won Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year, Missouri Valley Conference Newcomer of the Year, and going back to where Ben McCollum comes into this and the development, he's enhanced his three-point shooting from 32.7% in his final Division II season to 39.7. So 32.7% to 39.7% at Drake. Once again, led to all those awards that he rightfully earned in the Missouri Valley Conference. So we have Bennett Sturts, we had Justin Pitts, we have Trevor Hudgens. I'm trying not to forget anyone. Isaiah Jackson, another one. His freshman year, he played a key reserve role. Then he developed into a starter the next season. Again, defensive potential was his big thing. Then he earned all MIAA defensive team, honorable mention All MIAA, 7 points per game, 5.4 rebounds per game, 4.6 assists. And then at Drake, continue to evolve those skills, and he does everything right. When Isaiah Jackson has the ball, you can either rely on him to take a good shot, or you can rely on him to get the ball to the right player or the open player, or defensively, you could expect him to guard the opposing team's best guard or expect him to grab a rebound. He does it all. He does everything right. Let's keep it going. Diego Bernard, freshman year, immediate impact as a defensive specialist. His sophomore year, increased offensive production. So came in defense as a defensive product, then started to evolve offensively, but kept that key defender mentality. Keep it going. He helped the Bearcats win another D2 national title, and in that year he had 1 of those years he had 11.9 points per game, 5.7 rebounds per game, and 2.8 assists per game. After Hudgens left, he had to show up as the man, and he did. He led the team in scoring with 16.3 points per game. He led him in rebounds with 165 total, assists with 117, and he led the team in steals, field goals made, and free throws made. You want me to keep going on? Mitch Muscari. Last season at Northwest, he stepped up as a shooter, earning All MIAA honorable mention, and he also improved his three-point shooting from 25.9% as a freshman to 40.7% as a graduate student. And this is even against D1 defenses. Wes Dreamer, his first year, reserve role but showed promise, more as a stretch forward. By his third year, he was a key role and another one of Northwest's national titles. He averaged 12.7 points per game, 5.9 rebounds per game. In his final year, he was named MIAA Player of the Year and first team All MIAA. Shot up to 17.8 rebound or points per game, and 6.4 rebounds per game. Ryan Hawkins, freshman year, role player, developed into a two-way threat. Sophomore year, became a starter on the 2019 national title team, averaged 13.9 points per game, 8.9 rebounds. He led the team in scoring his junior year, 22.6 points per game, 7.4 rebounds per game, one of the best in D. His senior year with Northwest, won another D2 national title, finished second in MIAA history in rebounds, and had 84 in MIAA tournament play. And then we all know he went to Creighton, became a 15-point per game scorer in the Big East, I believed, and played professionally overseas. And Daniel Abreu is someone else who I would probably throw in that mix as being a bench player when he first got to Northwest, and now you're seeing what he is doing at Drake. So I just gave you Trevor Hudgens, Justin Pitts, Bennett Sturts, Isaiah Jackson, Diego Bernard, Mitch Muscari, Wes Dreamer, Ryan Hawkins, and Daniel Abreu, and I'm probably missing someone. If I'm going to be honest, I'm probably missing someone. But this is showcasing the fact that Ben McCollum is finding these gems that schools like Mizzou, Kansas State are missing. He's developing these players. And the thing is, all these players too, while they are being developed and developed for the better, they're also immediate impact players. All these players that I just mentioned came in and contributed their freshman season and contributed a lot. It wasn't this, oh, maybe came in a couple games or, you know, had a couple minutes here or there. No, they contributed. And so Ben McCollum's ability to find these players, recruit these players, and we got to remember this was all at Northwest. Sure, towards the end of his time there at Northwest, he could recruit players and pitch all the national championships, but he had to get these players here to Maryville, Missouri at the D2 level before NIL. Pretty impressive stuff. We'll get more into his recruits. Another thing that people have talked about that worries them is the more slow play of the offense here that Ben McCollum brings. But it doesn't have to be slow. He can match the pace when he needs to. But when it is slow, it allows his players to play longer, allows your best players to stay on the court longer. It allows your best players to not get tired as easily. Let's think about this. Sturts, he led the country this year at Drake with 39.4 minutes per game. His teammate, Mitch, he was second at 38 points or minutes per game in the nation. So the your two best players on Drake averaged the most minutes in the nation this year. Trevor Hudgens during his career at Northwest, He averaged 37.7 minutes per game his last 2 seasons. So when you do play this slower pace, your best players can remain on the court longer. Something to consider there that I like. Now, one main thing here that's going to be totally different than anything Fran McCaffrey has ever showcased at Iowa will be defense. And if you let Ben McCollum set up his half court defense, you're screwed. The way Ben builds teams is relentless on ball defense, players who can lock down the opposing team's best guards. It all comes down to guard play in March. He makes sure that's locked down. They thrive on discipline, they thrive on anticipation, relentless pressure. It's all about making life miserable for the ball handlers of the other team, of the opposing team. And he always has elite perimeter defenders. You can always expect at least one on a Ben McCollum led team. Isaiah Jackson would be the one for Drake. You can even say Daniel Brehu. That's fine. But Isaiah Jackson for me for Drake is that shutdown defender. Isaiah Howard on Drake. He's their freshman. I believe he will develop into that next elite on ball stopper. Someone that could or might or will follow Ben to Iowa. And then you had Diego Bernard if you want to go like the Northwest route, if you need a Northwest example. He was all MIAA defensive player 5 straight seasons. So you're always going to have an elite on ball defender, or you're just always going to have elite defenses. That sustained defensive excellence, that's just hasn't been the past couple years. It's been his entire tenure. He's had at least one all MIAA defensive player for 8 consecutive years when he was at the Division II level. McCollum did. His teams at Northwest Missouri State consistently ranked among the best defensive units in the nation. This season at Drake, 58.9 points per game allowed. That was the second lowest in the nation. Drake held Missouri in their tournament game in that round of 64 to 57 points. That's a team that averages 84 points per game. Iowa, if you want to look at Iowa's this year's, they were 79.7 points per game last season. That's 336th nationally. And as I mentioned, Daniel Brehu made all Missouri Valley defensive team under McCollum. So that just streak of all defensive players, whether it's all conference or even at the national level, he always has someone that's going to step up defensively. When looking at the principles, this is why it's so hard. There's this constant hand activity that's going to disrupt passes, it's going to deflect passes, it's going to get the opposing offenses out of rhythm. There's always help side awareness. The, his players rotate instinctively. I really don't think they even think about it. It's all just natural watching them do that. So that eliminates any easy drive lanes. The screen coverage, that discipline is locked in. His team stunt, they hedge, whatever you want to call it. They recover flawlessly and they focus on resets. Ball handlers often have to retreat and restart the offense because whether they're trying to turn one way, there's the hedge defender, there's the stunt. You can't, so then you got to back it up. So that's always disrupting a flow too. That's always wasting time. And that allows offenses to not be able to get their half court offense going. So there's a lot to like about this Ben McCollum defense that I think people will greatly appreciate, especially from an Iowa viewpoint here, and just the fact that that has been the main lacking issue for the Hawkeyes. So it all comes down really to being able to adapt and tailor the strategies that are counter specific to opponents that are going to hit on their weaknesses. Ben McCollum knows how to attack you. He knows what's going to hurt you, and he's going to make you play at his pace. And they're doing this at a tournament level too at Northwest Missouri State during the 2020-21 season. The team won its 3 NCAA Elite 8 games by combined 78 points, and that set a tournament record. So let's switch now to this offense that everyone seems to be somewhat worried about because of pace of play, but this will be a slower pace potentially. It could. We saw it at Drake, you know, wear down the defense by letting the shot clock go to almost zero. But they're always maintained, they're always focused, they're always poised, so they never seem distraught when that shot clock's running down. But that builds high quality shot opportunities. That makes the defense fall asleep. You also have the dynamic pick and roll or PNR actions. quick advantages, forcing defensive rotation. That's what's huge. You want to get those rotations, you want to get those defensive switches. Once again, it just all contributes to a very efficient offense. Whether you like the pace or not, the offense is efficient. We talked about kind of Ben McCollum's player development, so I don't want to go too much more into that, but he does have player development in the scoring aspect too. Ryan Hawkins, he surpassed 2,000 career points at Northwest Missouri State. Trevor Hudgens led all NCAA players, doesn't matter to the division, in total points during the 2021-22 season. Wes Dreamer, he achieved over 90 double-figure scoring games. Justin Pitts was the all-time leading scorer for Northwest, and then Diego Bernard came in third in all-time scoring for the Bearcats. So, and that, of course, was with Trevor Hudgens by his side. Um, Going back to efficiency, another reason they're so efficient is they take care of the ball. You don't see Ben McCollum teams that turn the ball over. Shooting accuracy in his final season at Northwest Missouri State, the team shot over 50% from the field, and they achieved that mark over in 17 different games. They ranked second across all divisions in points per possession during that season. They had the sixth highest scoring margin of the season. It's just really efficient offense. And once again, I keep saying that it could be slow pace. We could see slow pace. We could. Well, that's because I've seen them play very fast paced when it needs to be at the Division two level. I saw them able to put up 80 points per game consistently. It's just however the game is going, Ben will adapt too. He has seamlessly translated this offense to the Division One level. He led Drake to a top 50 national ranking in offensive efficiency, and the continued use of ball screen actions, creating mismatches, open shots. We saw that in Drake's offensive scheme this year. I think too another reason fans should be excited is McCollum can recruit guards that can and could get you far in March. Something that I think Fran McCaffrey lacked. I think when it came to Fran McCaffrey's recruiting style, he had guards that were usually good during regular season play, but come March, just not what you needed. He has McCollum has the ability to find and develop talent around the Kansas City, Omaha, and just the state of Kansas areas. Manhattan is where Trevor Hudgens is from. It's players who fly under the radar, and he has deep connections, within these pipelines. He's at AAU tournaments. His sons play, so he's always recruiting in that regard. I mean, Dylan Starsey, one of his players early on in his career, turned down multiple D1 offers, including Drake, to go play for McCollum. So even at that time, he was being able to connect with players, with recruits, and bring him to the D2 level just based on what he could do for them as a head coach. And he is able to recruit and always have the next guy. So let's think about that. Once he lost Justin Pitts and others in 2017, I believe there's two or three others, that could have set the program back. But he gave Ryan Hawkins, he gave Ryan Welty larger roles, and that helped the team maintain its success. Then he recruited Diego Bernard, who would go on to be a key contributor. Then he went on and got Trevor Hudgens, who was inserted into the lineup. So he always has that next man. He is always able to maintain a winning culture and a winning program because of this. Another interesting fact I find about this offense too is it's a point guard centric system. And I keep talking about guards and the importance when it comes to March and the importance of having good guards and McCollum's ability to recruit good guards. And that's because it is a point guard centric system. It's one of the most important pieces on the floor for Ben. It's a significant portion of the offensive workload. He runs the show, he dictates how the game flows, and the point guard has the highest usage rate in the country under McCollum. So this allows the point guard to create plays for teammates, control the ball, manage the clock with heavy influence on the outcome. The point guard is trusted at all times to execute the plans without much deviation. It's going to run its consistent pace. It's going to run its efficiency. These plays work. Let's run through them. McCollum also has selfless, no ego players. That's why Ben's teams always win. That's why they're always together. That's why they can handle pressure. That's why they never break. And that all leads to psychological warfare where McCollum controls the game. His opponents may try to press, they may try to speed up, they may try to force turnovers. McCollum's offense will adapt to whatever's happening. The slow pace can frustrate opponents. It can make them feel out of control. They lack the freedom in the game often. And so that wears down the opposing team's mentality. But at the end of the day, the players trust in the system. The players buy into the defense. The players get developed. The players trust him. They're loyal to him. They won't leave. Ben McCollum is a guy who cares. Would always talk to me at press conferences. Whenever I wore something Iowa or had something Iowa on, would ask me about the Hawks. Stuff like that. It's a guy who cares about the community. That's why he stayed in Maryville so long. It's a guy who cares about his players. That's why people like Trevor Hudgens didn't leave for other opportunities when they could have. They stuck with Ben. He's a guy who's very smart about the game of basketball, knows what he will get out of his players, and he just presents himself in a way of, you know, he's cool, you know he's important, and you know he's big time. But he treats you with respect. He cares about you, and he cares about his team, his players, and his community. And this is a great fit for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Well, that was a for what it's worth a breakdown episode. Like I said, I know it's a little different than what we're used to. No NBA, no NFL, but sometimes that's just how the dice rolls. You can follow us on social media. We are on Twitter, we are on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on Spotify, we're on YouTube. Just type in for what it's worth podcast. You can also type in FWIW Sports Pod. Go ahead and like, subscribe, favorite, share the link, do whatever you can, whatever social media site you're on, do whatever you can. We appreciate the support and just the constant checking in on the videos. Until next time, have a good one. I am your host, Calvin Silvers.